Hello, this is Dr. Dave Maslach talking about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3, and in this particular video, I really want to talk about what is the best way to get top journal publications at a small university. Maybe you're located in some place around the world where you don't have sort of all the connections that you would like to have. You know, not everybody's at Harvard or University of Pennsylvania or wherever it is, right? Not everybody's at these different locations. So I thought it'd be a really interesting question. It was asked to me in Quora. So I do answer some of the questions there. And this is part of my Thesis Help series where I just try to be as helpful to as many people around the world and you know, that is interested in doing research, trying to get into that, sort of grad students and, you know, PhDs and things like that are interested in doing research. So I thought I just put this out here. I'm a professor of innovation, strategy, and entrepreneurship. So yeah, let's get at her, pitter patter. Let's get at her. So what do you do? What's the difficulty with this? Well, you do need a lot of resources. So here's the problems when you are not at a sort of large research university. You just don't have the resources. Often, like conference funding, for example, it's going to be really small to non-existent. You're probably going to be expected to teach a lot, you know, maybe 3, 4, 5 different courses every single semester. That's a lot. It is going to be, you know, it's just not going to have the same sort of people around, right? So that's going to be the fundamental difference. That's probably going to be the biggest difference, is that they're not going to value research in the same way that some place that is at a larger university, that is a research-oriented university, where there's going to be this sort of push. And as well as there's probably more people that you can bounce ideas off of, it's going to sort of lack that, you know, the feel of, you know, going back and forth and these different ideas. Sometimes, so there's a disadvantages at large research universities as well. There's this huge, giant pressure to publish, and, you know, so which means that some people are really like in silos, and that happens to virtually everybody that's at a large research university. You're just gonna be really like stuck there and working, and you're not gonna you're not gonna have time to talk to other people and sort of bounce ideas off of, unless there's somebody that there's a lot of overlap that you have with in terms of research. It's just not going to have the same sort of feel. There's going to be, you know, this tremendous pressure. You're going to be, you know, just focused on doing, it's not going to feel the same sort of way, right? So there's lots of disadvantages to being at a large research university as well. So what can you do when you're at a small university to sort of compensate for the sort of difficulties that you have? I think the first thing that you have to acknowledge is that research takes a long time, and you're going to have to persist at whatever you're doing. And you kind of have to know that even if you're at a small university, in the long run, in the very long run, I'm talking like 10, 15 years, it's going to be valued, but it's going to take a lot of time. So research is going to be valued, but it's going to take a long time. It's not going to be, maybe not valued at your institution, maybe it will be, but more or less it's going to be valued a lot more in sort of the greater community, the greater college, right, of people that you're interacting with. So you just have to acknowledge it's going to take a long time. It's going to stew. And for you, particularly being at a small university with the less resources and things like that, you know, it's just going to take longer. And as long as you have that mindset, you can deal with a lot of different things, to know that it's just going to take a lot longer for you to accomplish different things, right? And you got to be okay with that, right? So you got to be like, okay, so somebody's at Harvard and they're publishing 6 times a year. Yeah, they're skilled, probably more skilled than you, but at the same time, they also have a lot more resources, a lab and things like that. So you just have to acknowledge that, yeah, all right, so that's part of it. The sort of second thing just kind of plays into the second thing. You have to acknowledge that you are disadvantaged. I mean, you truly are in a lot of ways. You're sort of not only in terms of the resources, but, you know, your disadvantages in terms of the reputation. So if you, I don't know if you've ever gone to a research conference yet, but if you have, you'll notice that if you're from, you know, if you are from Harvard, for example, a lot of those guys actually don't like going. You'll notice that you won't see them very often because they're just kind of hoarded by a lot of different people, and it's kind of an awkward thing, right? So yeah, you just get sort of bombarded. But if you're at a small, you know, international journal or international college of whatever, I don't know. Nobody's going to pay attention to you, right? So you're not going to get the same sort of opportunities that somebody else might have. But here's the thing, you can be really creative, right? Like entrepreneurs, for example, most entrepreneurs start a business where they have absolutely nothing and they sort of make it appear, right? And you have to be creative that way. You have to think of yourself much more of an entrepreneur where you're putting things together, right? And this is kind of goes into my third sort of issue and to think about is that, yes, it's going to take a long time. You have to acknowledge that, but you can build your own university if you didn't realize this, right? Your own sort of team. You just have to persist at something, be interesting and be interested in something for a long time until people start, recognizing that, oh yeah, this person is actually a player. And they're going to start, coming towards you and sort of inviting you to do things and talking. And, you are building that college. You can reach out to people in other universities. That's totally fine. That happens all the time, right? It's part of the reason why I'm doing this sort of reciprocity project. Oh, here comes the sun, so I'm going to fade. But, it's part of why I'm doing this reciprocity project is a way to get my word out there and, getting people interested in this kind of thing. Who knows? Maybe they'll come join the team over here at my institution. Who knows? But, that there is, you just have to be creative and do things that other people might not sort of deem as socially acceptable, but you just got to keep picking away at it. And that's totally fine. You just keep chugging away. You're going to have to accept the fact that you're going to fail probably 100 times more than somebody else that is at a larger institution that has a lot more resources and things, and it's going to help you out. And you just got to persist. And you know what? You're probably not going to be a famous researcher until you're 65. Well, who cares, right? You're still going to be a famous researcher in your lifetime compared to somebody that is maybe 30. As long as you have that mindset and as long as you're continuing to push through things, I mean, it doesn't really matter where you are, right? That's not a big thing. And often what some people will do, and you'll notice this, is that they'll be at a famous university and they'll be there for a couple of years, and then they'll make the active choice to go to a smaller university because they just don't want to deal with all the sort of stuff and that's associated, all the sort of politics and stuff that's associated at larger institutions. And that's totally fine because they could build that university. And at that point, some of those folks have already built a reputation. But, that's totally fine. You can do that kind of stuff, and that's fine. You just have to have the mindset. You have to have a different mindset that I'm going to do this no matter what, and it's going to take me until I'm 65 or 70. And at that point, there's going to be some benefits. And, that's it. And that's what you have to think about. Yeah, it seems like, oh, my God, it's forever. But, what else are you going to do in your life? Right? Like if you truly are passionate about this kind of thing, you're not going to make a lot of money doing sort of the research game and stuff like that. It's really not, it's just not there. But you're doing this because it's passionate for you and you really, it's just this interest that you don't want to sort of leave. You're really excited about solving problems and stuff. So you just kind of continue on persisting on that track. And if it's for you, if it's your calling, right, then it doesn't make any sense to do anything else. Why would you? Right? So, and you just got to keep persisting at it. And that's going to show over the long haul, right? People are going to start to see it. And I'm not saying it's not going to show. For some people, it's going to show up like 4 years, 5 years. That's going to start coming out. But, some people, it might take 20 years before it starts coming out and people start recognizing that this person is a player. And you just got to keep sharpening. Imagine yourself as a mind, right? Or imagine yourself as a stick. And you just got to keep sharpening it, getting it better and better and better as you go until it becomes this really sharp, amazing thing that somebody else doesn't possess. And then all of a sudden you become attractive and stuff like that to other people. And they start reaching out to you and communicating with you. But first you have to build that and get to that point. So you have to just have a mindset that it's going to take time and you have to be cool with it and chill. And you'll get there. That's it. So hopefully you like this video and it helped you with sort of figuring out how to actually get in a top journal publication at a small university. And sort of get the mindset is really truly about the sort of mindset of how to actually get a journal publication and start being really good at publishing in top tier journals. So that's it. Hopefully you like this video. You can watch the other ones that are out on Fridays where I put out for thesis help stuff for research and graduate students, all sorts of stuff that you have to deal with. all the craziness that you have to deal with when you're in graduate school that are interested in that kind of stuff. And there's a whole bunch of other things that are on these reciprocity videos. You can check them out. So that's it. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye.